Hi friends, this is Chris with Josephine's Design. I am back with my, I think it's just the Glam planner is what I think this was. Anyways, I found it on sale and I'm using it as a wellness planner. I am going to also use the journaling doodles, the wellness, and it's wet because I literally just dropped this and spilled tons of coffee on it, but by God's grace, it didn't go on the inside. So anyways, okay, there's that. I also have some different washi. I've got a kind of a succulent one with rose gold that I just thought would be fun. I've got this other cacti one. I've got a heart rose gold, another heart rose gold, and then I also grabbed some of my Simply Gilded. And yeah, so all right, let's get started. I don't know that I'll use all these, but I thought I would pull them nonetheless. So I've already pulled my pages out, and I want you guys to know last week was a really hard week. And I think it's the reality of knowing somebody that's your age. And don't get me wrong, I've had friends who've passed away that were my age and even younger. But this last week was really a showstopper. So you can see nothing got done. And of course I wasn't feeling well on Thursday, so I didn't even get to go to be with my grandbaby. I have to tell you, and though we went away for our anniversary on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, then we got the call about the family member who passed away. It has been one of those seasons where it wasn't the same as when I lost both my parents, but it was a struggle. I'm gonna be honest, it was just a struggle. And the people you think that should and, you know, that you think would and should be there for you, sometimes aren't. Sometimes they just say stupid stuff. You know, I say stupid stuff, so I could say that. Hold on one second, take a sip of coffee. And yesterday I was very offended, and by today, you know what? You just kind of have to bloom where you're planted and move on. And, you know, and just have to hope that those that, you know, you wish could be there and they couldn't, sometimes they just can't. They just can't. They don't have the ability to think beyond themselves. And, you know, their water's deeper. Their lunch is better. You know how that goes. But I'm very thankful for my husband. For my youngest daughter, I don't think my son and oldest daughter know. My son knows some, but not all. And I really felt like it was a private thing, and it's not that private since I've shared it with y'all, but it is one of those things where you kind of go through something and you just think, wow, you know. And I know that when we lost my parents, there were people that were there for us and people who weren't there for us. And the people who should have been there, and some were shysters. There's no other way to say it. But I don't know that I've learned much other than God is always true. Jesus is forever. My husband's a good man. You know, my kiddos are good. And, you know, their spouses, etc., grandchild. You know, you know your circle. You know your circle. You know the friends that are really there for you as well. And for a season, while I was taking care of my parents, all friendships kind of went to the wayside. And not only that, my whole world changed from homeschooling children and homeschooling moms and homeschooling to this next step that I haven't officially transitioned in yet. So, that's all I have to say right now on this wellness page. So, I may go back and fill back in last week because I think it was monumental in some things that happened, no doubt. But I also have had to realize that, you know, this one person who was there for me through so much, and knowing that she has a limited time here on this earth, it was very, when you lose both your parents, you have this lonely feeling. Even if you have 100 people around you, you still feel lonely for them. There are only things that they could remember. I mean, the jokes, you know what I mean? So, And then you have friends that are that way as well. But as your worlds change, sometimes friendships grow in different ways. You understand that. You respect that. You still love them, but, yeah, maybe you don't see each other every week, or you don't see each other every month, or you don't see each other every year, depending on if your friends are close by or not. And I think that when I lost my parents, this person was absolutely instrumental in helping me get through it. And I think that was overwhelming to know that somebody who knew how really difficult it was on me, how infuriating and frustrating and sad, and there were a few moments that were, I would say joyful. There were beautiful moments, things like that. This person knows all that. And to think that that person would be gone is very sad. And, even things that my husband didn't know. And my husband and I talked about some of that this weekend, that, I know you don't know this, but, and he was like, I didn't know that. And I said, well, you were going through your own grieving. I couldn't overwhelm you with mine. And he was like, and I said, no, I just couldn't. You had to have your space, and I got that. And then we had incredible stress on top of that due to a family issue, and I told him, I said, there was no way I could add to your plate. And he was really at the breaking point. There is no other way to say that. So that was a tough road and all that. And the incredible extra stress that was put on us highly affected that. And, it was it. My parents were his parents, And the thought last week when I found out this friend was obviously not well, I guess we cling to history, and we cling to things that we know, and things that comfort us. And this was a person who tremendously comforted me in such a horrible time in my life. And for that I will always be forever grateful. And I pray that I get to do that in return. But I think when you first find out information like that, you just have to mourn it so that you don't mourn it in front of them. Because my job will be to make her happy and smile and laugh and all those good things. So anyway, wellness planner has got a little bit of journaling to be done in it, but that's okay. Wellness and faith, both. You would think I would have been diving into that faith planner even more, but it was more like I was off in the garden praying and just needing to be alone with my thoughts. You know how that is. So anyway, my husband woke up in the wee hours of the morning, and then I wake him up early, and he had all this work he had to do. And so I turned on Planning with Bumble. And if you guys don't follow her on YouTube, she is a lot of fun. And she's so much more creative than me. And of course, I love Heather Kell. And, there's a whole group of those gals that are kind of all connected because they were in the planner squad together for the Happy Planner. So, but she did something in her wellness planner, which is different than mine, different types of planners, that I thought I would give a try. And I'm going to have my own spin at it. So what she did was she took some washi and she went across the bottom and then up at the top. And then she just freeformed it. She didn't do a daily thing. And I thought, that's what I need this week. I just need to freeform it. Freestyling. So, anyways, and I haven't used this washi yet, so I'm excited to play. And yeah, so let's get started. So, but I really love, I do not want to take credit for this because she was the one who I saw do this, and I thought, that is something I want to do. Oh, you know what? This is that peel kind. Oh, I can't stand that kind, but that's okay. We will make it work. And this is the number one reason, is because if you are not paying attention and pulling it tight, it will bubble on you, but that's okay. So, anyways, but I'm doing okay now, and today's the funeral for the family member who passed away this weekend, and they have been in my thoughts and prayers since the wee hours of the morning, and I appreciate all of you who are praying on the day of. I think this will probably go up today, so I appreciate y'all praying today, those that are praying with me. It is such a difficult situation, but to hear the immediate family member who is at such peace was beyond all, it was such she just exemplified grace and peace and love. And, you know, I just couldn't say that anymore. And I told her that, And I just have to say that, having dealt with some who haven't been able to get through things well and kind of had to carry the water, you know what? There's a lot to be said for those who, and I'm not saying she wasn't mourning. I'm sure she was. This was her husband. But I think her mourning had already happened when he got sick. And I think that because you lose the person that you knew, and they're not the same person when they have Alzheimer's or dementia. Plus, he had some other health issues, which is very common. And but I still, let her know in no uncertain terms how much I appreciated her ability to see it for what it was and to find peace in that journey, knowing how difficult it is to find that peace in that journey. And, just amazed. And, of course, received, when I sent my email and then I received one back, it was just humbling. That's all I can say. I'm just humbled. So she's a very graceful and very articulate and wise woman in the Lord, and for that I hope I'm in the camera okay, and for that I'm very thankful. She has taught me a lot that I wish I'd known before, but that's what life is. None of us are perfect. We learn in the journey, and there is joy in the journey. There is. No matter how hard we think it is, there is still joy in the journey. And I know that really is wide, but I kind of like that. So, and I watched, Planet with Bumble, and I know this was not her thing, but it is kind of mine. So, I thought, I'm just going to do it the way I would do it, which is, of course, what we do in our art. We get inspired by someone, and then we make it our own. So, but I did want to give credit to her because she inspired this in the wee hours of the morning, this day. I had to stumble when I said that, this day. But anyway, so, well, and I try not to press too hard with this knife because I have pushed through and cut through the next page. If y'all haven't seen it, I have. So, anyways, but, alright, I really like that. I can't say that enough. Now, on hers, she did not do as much up above, and she kind of changed it out, and I am going to change it out. I'm not going to have the same order, but I am, I like it. Now, one thing I do want to do is I do want to come across the top here, because I do like the top section for certain things. So let me fix that right now. And I've got these that I haven't used yet, so let's use these. What do you say? We're just breaking all the good stuff out today. So, anyways, but I do appreciate the journey. Our journey is what makes us into who we are. And, there's some things in this world you can change and some things you can't. And probably the serenity prayer of knowing what you can and what you can't is the difference between a healthy and a non-healthy life. And I think, I don't know if some people kind of live in that state because it's easier, or because they get attention, or because, I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. And, I mean, I've had everybody give me their 2 cents worth, and I don't really care to, know. But I do think that, I kind of think I'm going to go with that gray. I was either going to go this one or this gray. But whatever reason why, people choose this in their journey, I like this one better. We don't have to follow that same journey. And I think that's really important for people to understand, is that not everybody's journey is our journey. And we do not have to feel like we have to do that in our journey. So, I really believe that. choose this day who you're going to serve. And I think that there's a lot of wisdom in that scripture. And I think that we just have to get beyond ourselves. And some days that's hard. I'm going to admit it. This last week it was not easy. But, but, when this family member called to say that her husband had passed away, how dare I not be encouraging? How dare I think of only my own sadness, or, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that others do that when they're in that place, but I do think they do that afterwards. And, so, but that is that. And my husband and I talked about, too, that there are those people who can handle these things, those who can't. And, so you find grace. You just find grace. So I am going to go across here, since I already have this cut. That is going to be my launching point for the next set of goodies. I know. Did you see that? Good transition, right? So, anyways. So whatever your journey is, there is joy in the journey. No matter how sad it feels, how sad you feel, there is joy in the journey, and I'm here to tell you there is. And, joy comes in the morning. All these cliche statements, and, there's a lot in Scripture too, and I have to tell you that it is up to us to choose. We can all be sad, or we can all get on with life and enjoy it. Oh, do you like my dollar? Isn't that cute? I found that at Dollar General. I thought it was so cute. So, anyways, but I just really want to encourage everyone that you do not have to live in the sadness of what is going on in your life. Sometimes we don't have a choice, but if there's any way to find joy, I highly, highly encourage you to. I remember after my parents passed away, I watched silly sitcoms and comedians. I love Chonda Pierce, but she had lost her husband, so there were some things I couldn't even watch of hers because it was just too raw for me. Things like that. And I think that those are the things that we do to quote unquote get healthy. We all, ooh, looky there, it picked it up. We all have things in our lives that, are difficult. And it's what we do with them that counts, So, anyways, that's just my 2 cents. Not worth much, but this is what I have discovered in my own life, and I think I'm overlapping that, and I am a little bit. So I think I'm going to raise this one up a little bit. But, I just don't want anybody to think that they have to stay there in that sadness. So, anyways, what do I know? But that's where I'm at. Ah, goodness gracious. Okay, well, let's take care of one, and then we take care of the other one, right? Silly me. But, so today I go to Weight Watchers, and yes, it was a anniversary weekend that was, my sweet husband is the kind of guy that says, oh, it's great that you're doing this, and, oh, we're here for you. And then he goes and buys a chocolate cream cheese kolache for me. And I ate it. But I counted it. So hopefully I counted it all correctly. I don't know. You do this and you count everything and you're like, oh, did I count that right? But, you just do your best. That's all you can do. So I think I'm really going to raise this. Okay, there we go. But we will see today. Yeah. But I thought it was so funny. When I was there last week, the lady was like, take your shoes off. Take your coat off. Take anything off of you that's heavy. And I was just like, okay. And I mean, I've gone to Weight Watchers. Oh, I have that crooked since I was 10. So yeah, I know the MO, but it was just so funny the way she was just like, get everything off. And I was just like, okay. I have been a part of Weight Watchers before. She's like, I don't care. Get it all off. And I was like, okay. Oh, goodness. She was so cute. Oh. I mean, they really do root you on. At least at our meeting. And our meeting is filled with lots of these older women, and they are really funny. I mean, they are funny. I mean, and the friend I go with, she's pretty dry, and I think she's hilarious, but she is really dry, and so she doesn't really laugh the whole time when I'm laughing. So I'm sure she's just like, oh, she's so weird. But anyways, uh, it just cracks me up. Okay, I'm almost getting rid of that. It's stuck all over me. All right, I think I'm semi-straight. It's hard to tell. I keep getting washi stuck to me. If you wonder what I'm doing over here, I'm trying to get all the washi off. Oh, goodness. But anyways, so we're in. We are going to go today. We are going to bloom where we are planted, and it is all good. You know, at least I tried, and that was the whole thing. In the past, we got there. Oh, I didn't tell you guys about the B&B we stayed at. This was a gorgeous B&B. I mean, it was a craftsman style, which our home is craftsman style, but oh my gosh. And it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. And even there was like a day bed in the living area. And so my husband took naps there. He was just the sleepy guy. And I mean, we left saying, God, I need 8 more hours of sleep. But we got there and the lady had made a whole plate of homemade cookies. I know. I mean, and my husband was like, hey, and I was like, ugh. So I had one of 8, so I feel like I was pretty good. And I counted it. And then I made some 0-point cookies, which is just bananas and all that. And this is still crooked. So, okay, so this is my encouragement to you. Do not go with how it's cut on the washi. Just get it straight and then deal with it. You know what I mean? So, which means make your own way. And I think I'm going to come back with something else there in the middle too. But I did make, and my husband ate them too. And he was like, well, these aren't bad. They need, XYZ. And I said, yeah, well, I only have so much here. So he literally went that night and picked up cinnamon and additional oats and all kinds of stuff. So I ended up making, if you're wondering, any of you that are on Weight Watchers, I made rolled oats, and I didn't even know he picked up gluten-free oats. I was really proud of him. And I don't even know if he knew he did it. But rolled oats, bananas. I would have put Mexican vanilla or any kind of vanilla, and it would be good. But in Texas, we love vanilla from Mexico because it's so pungent. And then I put in, what am I trying to think? Stevia, because I needed something for sweet. Even though the banana was sweet, because I made one and I thought, it needs something else. So I added banana, and then I added 2 eggs. And my girlfriend had told me a lot of this, except for the 2 eggs. And I think it lightened it up, because they were really like a breakfast bar more than they were like a cookie. Ooh, sorry. And, but they were really good. I mean, we finished, we ate every last one. And I told my husband, I said, why do you keep eating all my cookies? Well, I lifted up the cover for the other cookies, and I was like, you ate all those cookies? He was like, I did, every last one, and they were good. And I was just like, okay. Oh, to be him. I remember when we first married, he was like muscle and bones. I remember he was a weightlifter, and you could just see his ribs. And yeah, so he has definitely, worked in the work world in a more sedentary life. And so, I mean, he's not overweight anyway, but he has to actually kind of pay attention to it now. Poor baby. And so, but he ate the whole thing. And then, bless his heart, he tried to take me to a nice restaurant on Sunday when we were leaving town. And to be honest, the food was terrible. And we paid a lot of money. It was a Mexican restaurant, and it was genuinely awful. And we had to keep asking repeatedly for things. And at one point, I told my husband, I said, well, maybe they don't speak English very well. we keep getting a lot of head nodding, and that can be indicative of not knowing the language. And anyways, it kind of ended up being that way. So, I take that back. They did speak English. That part was true. But, yeah, it was just kind of one of those things where you just kind of go, okay, it's all good. Just let it go, honey. Just let it go. Because he was just like, hey, we're going to pay a lot of money for this meal. And I said, no, we're not going to pay that much money. And I thought we were just going to pay X amount. And then we checked out, and I was like, oh, that's sinful. And so he was like, I told you. So, because we are really cheap, if you haven't figured that out yet. I love this. So I wanted to come back in, and I'm going to cut these because I want them to butt right up to the edge. And I just thought I would kind of do the wallpaper with this, the background. You know what I mean? So, anyways, but we had a great time. And I think that's why he stopped and bought the kolache. He wanted a Topo Chico because it gave him an upset tummy, and he likes a certain type of Topo. And so we found one at a German, of all place. It was the weirdest thing. It was a convenience store, gas station, McDonald's, and German bakery. And so it's just like, okay, this is weird. And he was like, I know. But that's when he came out. He went in to get a Topo, and he came out with all these. He came out with a donut and kolaches. And we don't eat meat, so, of course he went for the sweet ones. And they were good. I mean, or the one I had was good. And I ate it over a period of time because I kept thinking, I'm not going to eat all this. I'm not going to eat all this. I'm not going to eat all this. I'm just going to do half, and I'm only going to count half, and I ate the whole thing. So, but it was good. When I was telling my youngest about it when we got home, she goes, ooh, that sounds good. And I said, it was really good. And she was like, could you eat that? And I said, you can eat anything. You just have to count it, She goes, well, could you count it? And I said, ironically, yes. There was a listing for it, and she was like, oh my gosh. And I said, well, not from this bakery, but a description that was, exactly what it was. So that's what I went with. And anyways, we laughed about it afterwards. Kind of like, yeah, man, we ate it, and we ate the whole thing. So anyways, and then we stopped, and I got sugar, unsweet, yummy Tivana tea at a place called Buc-ee's. And if any of y'all are from Texas, y'all know Buc-ee's. We were going to Buc-ee's, and my husband always says, we were going to Buc-ee's when Buc-ee's wasn't cool. And I said, I know. I was country, and country wasn't cool, honey. So, but we went to Buc-ee's, and I got my husband some jalapeno peanut brittle. And it was so funny because my husband eats really hot peppers. I mean, insanely hot peppers. And I was like, are you really going to... I said, well, so how was your peanut brittle? And he goes, it was really good. But it was really hot. I said, it was hot? You thought it was hot? Oh my gosh, your mouth, for you to even say anything like that, you must be like on fire. And he was like, yeah, pretty much, So. Okay, so it's not 100% filled the way I would want it to be, but I'll show you why I'm going to stop. So I'm going to save that because you always can use that on another spread. So I'm done with this, I think. I might come back in and pick up a couple of things, but we'll see. So, okay. I love that. But this is more the colors of maybe that. Yeah, I think that is a good one. So, let me see what I can find in here. I wanted to use the boxes. So I like the morning reflection. So I think I'm going to do that here. And I did do an early wee hour morning reflection. So I'm going to put that there. So I'm just going to layer my boxes. And I know that like on Mary Ellen, she'll like lift things up underneath. It doesn't bother me. I'm the one here and I don't see it. Okay, and I love this one. Give yourself a pep talk because I feel like that's what I've been doing since yesterday. Oh, I even had boba tea yesterday, which I don't have that very often. But my youngest was like, what do you want to do, Mommy? And I said, how about some boba tea? And she was